Hello, Ingleteen. Oh, hello. How are you?
There we go. Okay, I see what's going on. It's a new thing. I do StreamYard, so it's a little bit different. I'm not used to this setup. I didn't know I had to turn on my mic and camera. So here I am, like, what the hell's going on here? Oh, what is up?
Nothing. Just being lazy, milking the community for content.
No, yeah, basically that's it. It's like, hey, come on and give me something to talk. I do that every Sunday night too. I call it open line. Whatever you guys want to talk about. Yes. But then you jumped into Roe versus Wade. I was like, oh, okay, we're going to be talking about comics. And then, no, okay, Roe versus Wade. It wasn't ever a constitutional right. It was actually decided by
the Supreme Court. There is a constitutional right to privacy.
What they did was they tied it into the privacy thing. But the thing is, the rights aren't going away. They're just going to finally, for the first time ever, be able to be voted on. Oh my God, please don't
say go to the states.
But that's the truth of it.
There's already like 26 laws or 26 states with trigger laws in effect.
Because a lot of people don't like it when you break it down. Like when you see, like, I am not for taking it away altogether. I think that if there is an emergency situation and a doctor has to save the life of a mother and that's a way to do it, absolutely. A lot of people are, when you get into the late term abortion, California actually started, I don't think it's come to a vote, but they were bringing up a bill where you could abort a baby 30 days after birth. That's murder.
That's murder.
You know that. So there,
I'm talking about to the point of viability. That's where my line is.
When you break it down, a lot of people don't like abortion once a baby starts becoming a baby. Some people, once you tell them, well, what about a heartbeat? Because then it's alive. Yeah, it was a lot of people actually bow out. What did the kids say now? They nope out once they find out there's a heartbeat. So this is something I think finally people will be able to vote on it. I think that's so much better than the Supreme Court's not legislation anyway. And so they shouldn't be making laws. How do you feel about
like federal mandates with the vaccine?
The vaccine, I'm the same way. I don't think that they should be telling you what to do, but you're going to go with the body thing here. And
yeah, isn't that a bit hypocritical?
This is the biggest argument that we usually have when it comes to, this is why I hate getting into the abortion argument, because people who are for abortion are arguing women's choice, which, it's not pro-choice because you're choosing abortion. That's what we're talking about. It's not pro-life. You're pro-abortion, or you're anti-abortion. So let's keep the language clean. So what ends up happening is you have obviously your side that is talking about the woman, and we're talking about the baby. So we're never actually having the same.
The problem I have. And I totally get that. The problem I have is once the baby is born, and I'm going to generalize here because it just makes it easier. A lot of times when it comes to Republicans, conservative people in general, don't care once the baby's born. Are they going to start?
True.
Are they going to start implementing more social programming?
You know that actually there is plenty of there are a lot of social programs, that are actually backed by Republicans as well. One of the things, of course, you say is that adoption is so much better. And a lot of Republicans adopt, it is, but yes, that thing is, I've never actually seen any evidence that it's like, the baby's born, let him die. But even still, flat out, Republicans don't like social programs. Let's say that. Republicans don't like social programs. That baby's born, he has a better chance at a good life than if he's dead. Flat out. There's only one way a successful abortion goes for a person, and that is with a dead baby. But if
not a baby, fetus or a zygote.
But it's a baby.
You're trying to conflate terms here. No, if you want to use actual terms, you're talking about a fetus. And I'm not talking about late term abortion. I don't want people to think that I am for that.
But how far
because
are
I
you
am
willing
absolutely
to,
against.
How long forward do you, because actually me and my wife agrees with you. She's okay with, you know, when it looks like a peanut.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, but that peanut, give it 2 months.
That peanut is still, you're talking about 13 weeks before it's even the size of a peanut.
But the thing is give it a couple months and it's a baby. So we're all, to me, we're always talking about that. In all honesty, when my wife and I actually thought that it would be we were not in a good financial spot, and we went ahead with one. And after that happened, I felt like I failed as a father. Later, Gail and I were in a better financial spot, and we thought about having a third child. And one thing, the guilt people never talk about, the fact that Gail still sometimes cries about it, because we never had that third child. Because how can you say, and we already did say, we said, Ashley, you can live. Elizabeth, you can live. That third baby, we said, could not live. That was a horrendous amount of guilt.
I can't even imagine.
When it comes to, hey, okay, now we're ready to do a child again, we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. We couldn't go forward because we had said and this is probably, you know, you always, our comic book versions of hell, you always have people punishing themselves. My hell will be the fact that I did not stand up for my child, because I did not really want, I went through with it because my wife was afraid.
Right.
And
I can't even imagine. Like, I don't even want to argue with you right now. I kind of just want to give your wife a hug.
Yeah, I do too. Whenever, but in all honesty, she sometimes, you know, she's a little rough about it. I am constantly, because I feel I failed as a father when that happened. But yeah, I never like to get into the abortion argument because of two reasons. One, we're never having the same conversation, and two, there's no way on earth that I'm going to change your mind and you're going to change mine. It just never happens.
You're right. And the issue, I think, is and I tried explaining this last week. My biggest issue is I don't want any government to be able to tell somebody what they can do with their body, whether it is mandates, whether it is birth control, whether it is who they marry, or if they abort or if they don't. The government having control over your being is my issue with this. The government shouldn't get to decide. Morality aside, that's fucked up to me. Letting some higher being decide.
Well, in all honesty, there were it was the Supreme Court that said, look, because of the goodness, I forget the amendment, the right to privacy, you can have an abortion. The Supreme Court also, and by the way, and everybody likes to point out now that Ruth herself said this was bad law, this was bad precedent because it wasn't very well written. What's going to happen now is, yes, it will go back to the states. Each state will have their the right to vote on whatever they want. And whatever they want to, maybe even if they keep it legal, whatever regulations they have to be on it. Yeah.
Would you be okay with forced vasectomies?
It's a whole different matter. So
it is. I'm just curious.
Yeah. Because once again, you're arguing from the point of it would be my body.
Right.
But we're arguing from the point of it's the baby's body. So that's actually what's going on. It's in the mother. Obviously, nobody can argue that, but it's more. It is not
Krypton,
we're not doing anything to you. We're doing things to the baby. You made the same decision that guys do, that they get stuck. Of course. Well, I didn't want a baby. Well, you did want the sex, and sex creates a baby, and that goes both ways. A lot of times, the woman, for some reason, is let off on that argument, like you guys don't have responsibility. And the thing is when you have sex, even if you use a condom, on the box it says 3% ineffective.
Yeah.
Or they do it the other way. 97% effective. They don't say actually 3% and you're taking a 3 out of 100 chance that you're going to have a baby afterwards, and you're agreeing to it. Otherwise, you need to call the fucking police.
I mean, but they're not agreeing to it. Let's be real. I'm not talking about people my age and older. I'm talking about younger generation. They're not agreeing. They're not.
You're not saying you're not having sex to make a baby, but you are doing what makes a baby. And they do know that. I hope they do know. What are they not teaching kids in school these days?
I know, right? Like bills that in Florida that take away rights to teach that kind of. No, sorry, had to. Sorry, go ahead.
You know, I'll just love it. You don't want to go there.
I know I had to. I'm sorry. If it was anybody else, I wouldn't have. But I know you're okay.
Yeah. But that's what, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the whole abortion argument. You want to argue whether or not the law is right. Unfortunately, legal it is. I love the argument, by the way. Somebody put forth, I don't know where I heard it first, but it was that no one is forced to give any part of it's not legal to force anyone to give their part of a part of their body to save another body. So if you use that logic and such, then of course abortion is legally moral, or at least legally right. And I was listening, I was like, that's actually one of the best arguments I've ever heard towards it. And unfortunately, a lot of times it ends up being the moral argument, and then it's just, what side are you on?
Right.
You've got your sense of moral
standpoint, because I know my own morality.
Yeah, I don't look at you as an immoral person. I just don't. I'm sorry. We agree on a lot of different things, but I hope you don't see me as an immoral person.
No. That's why I knew I could tease you about that.
In spite of the 12 ladies buried in my backyard, I am a good person. Gosh darn it. Yes, of varying ages. But yeah,
of varying ages.
The whole. Like I said, this one, in all honesty, I think it's a good idea that we're finally able to vote, because you're going to actually hear what people.
Do you think our vote matters? Have you seen the gerrymandering that's been done lately?
Well, it's not done lately. It's been done throughout the history of our country by politicians on every side of the aisle. So when I hear that, it's my age is going to show here, because and I get you and we're like what, 20, 25 years. I don't know how old you are, but
I'm 35. Shut up.
You're 35. Okay, well, no, that's halfway to dead. You're still young compared, But the thing is at this point, I've seen everything. And not everything, I'm sure, but it's like, this again. Again.
Yes.
All right. So when I hear about it, it's just like, okay, it's their turn. After a while, what happens? The Democrats take over and they things up. The Republicans take over. They fix some things. They fuck up. The Democrats come in. Sometimes they fix things and then they fuck up. My political history shows that I see the Democrats screwing up more. Therefore, my whole thing when I voted. I said, which one is going to keep us free? Which one is going to keep that Constitution? That Constitution,
and look what happened,
is the greatest document in the entire world. So I know that conservatives actually like to keep it a lot more than the Democrats. The Democrats are going after free speech now. The Democrats are, they're going after a whole ton of our rights. They've always been after the gun rights. So.
It's going to ramp up now with shooting.
The what? There was a shooting. Therefore, they're going to go after my tinfoil hat has always been, whenever you get a big freaking news story, I'm always, especially if you don't have a line on who did it. Like, wait, this guy did it? Are you sure? I always think, because the rhetoric about the gun rights comes so freaking quick and hard right afterwards, I always wonder if it's a plant.
No,
because
don't say that. People died. I know,
Well,
I understand you can say that or you can think that, but hearing about what happened about that.
Yeah, I know nothing about this new shooting. I do not know anything, so I'm not using this one.
Okay.
This is but that is something that I've sometimes thought. We were at I picked my daughter up. She works out at a sandwich shop in Disney Springs, and so we're driving out of Disney Springs. And I go, well, that's not what you want to see. And my daughter goes, what? She looks up, and they're over by all the protesters. You've got the Gadsden flag, the pro DeSantis flags and all that, and right in the middle of them, getting yelled at, by the way, is a couple of guys with the Antifa gear on, but it's not Antifa because they're holding the Nazi. It might be Antifa because these people were getting yelled at. So it made me think that nobody around them wanted them there. And what ended up happening actually happened. I think when I see that, we've actually seen it in the Trump rallies and such. Somebody will show up in Nazi garb. They'll take a picture and they say, hey, look, there's Nazis at the thing. And that, I think, is what happened outside of Disney. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? You seriously? No matter, first of all, I think it's tacky, even if you're for DeSantis and you're true about it, even if you're doing that, don't stand outside freaking Disney. The whole point is you don't want to indoctrinate. Excuse me, I got the word wrong. You don't want to do that to kids. So why are you out there doing that to children? To indoctrinate them into your political beliefs. And I'm like, just leave the outside of Disney alone.
I don't understand that argument at all from these people, because they're worried about like gay representation, but there's been literally kissing and all of that in Disney movies forever.
Oh, for that. Okay. No, that's not what's going on outside.
Then I have no idea then.
But for the movie thing, I got a little bit to say about that, because I say it about comics as well. I always show that, or at least I talk about that. Few years back, there was a convention, and Mark Russell and Steve Orlando, Vita Ayala are there. Now, Steve Orlando did stand up, and he says he actually kind of argued against this, but Vita Ayala flat out said that I believe that wherever there's a question, we should queer up DC Comics. And of course,
she doesn't have the power to do that, though, really. Except maybe in the Amazons.
No, absolutely. They have the power to do that, because all they have to do is say, you go on the freaking Twitters where everybody's afraid of people and say, wow, we tried to do this with the LGBTQ and they did not. So DC obviously has a bad time with, and it doesn't matter how many.
Then she'll lose her work. Or their work, sorry.
No, they won't, because if they do that, if they get fired, then all of a sudden DC is the company that fired a whole bunch of queer artists and writers because they wanted to put queer characters in the book, and all of a sudden the Twitter mob's all over them. And for some reason, corporations are actually believing.
That's what I was gonna say. Why not? Why let, what is it, like 9% of the population's on Twitter or something?
I know, right?
Why let that bother you? So I never understood it. I get it. I was on there for some time, and I think it's more cesspoolish than anything else I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
And I suggest everyone get off it.
Twitter is not a happy place. I use it to tell people, hey guys, here's a video. Hey guys, come on to the live stream.
Right.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Let me just get this super chat really quick. I'm sorry. World War Wit, thank you so much. A vasectomy is not the same thing because it's not necessarily reversible, and yes, it is. And force would require kidnapping, assault. Yeah, I imagine that it would. It was just an example, but I look at it as the same thing, because if a woman has an opportunity to have an abortion before, they're doing heartbeat bills and stuff like that, before that chance, then fine. But you're at that point forcing this person to give birth, to have a child, to have that baby in them for 9 months. And I look at it very similar, but of course not. It's not the exact same thing. It was just an example I was using. But thank you so much, World War Wit.
Yeah. To get back to it though, I was going to equate it with what Vita Ayala said. And I'm sorry, but when you do that kind of thing, and this is what we found with the Disney executives, you're not talking about story. You're not talking about plot or things you want to do with to move forward the line or anything. You're talking about oh goodness, what's the word? An agenda kind of thing.
An agenda of one.
Yeah,
maybe.
Everybody but Steve Orlando agreed with this, and we're seeing it.
Of course they did. It's public,
and we're seeing it now across the line. You are literally getting the queering up of many characters in the DCU, and it has nothing to do with story. They're not looking to move these characters forward. They're just looking to do this.
Can you give me an example? Because last time you could not.
Now we have Vixen. I believe Catwoman just got hit. Superboy.
Vixen, that's an Elseworld story, so that really doesn't count.
It's out there now.
It's not even the first time Vixen's been gay.
Okay.
It's not even the first time. She was gay in Bombshells before.
And Bombshells? Well, everybody was gay in Bombshells.
Bombshells was so fucking good, though. Come
on,
I loved it. I want more. We've got the Omniverse, right?
I was very happy.
Why can't we have a Bombshells universe?
I was very happy to meet Margaret Bennett. She was at a. I actually went to the convention. I went to go meet. I think it was Dan Abnett or somebody, and he had a booth there, and he's gone. So I was like, oh, that sucks. Was it Dan Abnett? It was somebody. Anyway, I went to meet somebody else, and there's Marguerite Bennett. I was like, oh, you did Bombshells, and she kind of perked up, smiled, talked to my daughter a little bit, and I accidentally outed my daughter. I didn't know she wasn't. I was like, wait, you're not out, and because I was talking on my live stream about her, and I don't care. To me, it's just this is who you are, therefore it's okay to talk. But she got mad, but yeah. Aww. She got to talk to Marguerite.
Why are you okay with Marguerite Bennett making Vixen gay but not Chief Franklin in an Elseworld story?
Oh, no. Well, first of all, I was just mad about the way it was done. The Bombshells.
You didn't like Harley? No, what was it?
Oh no, that book.
Eat, Bang, Kill. Oh my God, that's one of my favorite books this year.
Really? Yeah. Well, different tastes and all.
I'm a girl though. Like it was made for girls. Let's be real.
Okay. If you want to go in that direction, sure, fine. I believe that all comics are made for everybody, and you can pick up.
Of course, but there is a target audience, right?
Yeah,
who you're writing to.
With some, there are obviously, and it's it just it wasn't for me. I did not care for it.
But then can you give me some examples of who besides Vixen? I know you said John, which he's a new character, so that is kind of what
I did give you some examples, and we already know about the we already know about the Tim Drake thing. So yeah, I have given
Tim's the one that I was like, I felt like it was better done than some, but it also didn't. He had about 10 years, I would say, of queer coding. But
no, he didn't. He had 30 years of dating women. He was 30 years of dating women. So
and then about 10 years of queer quoting. Yes, I will. I absolutely agree. Yeah, I would love to see him.
Come on, like really. The thing is, you. Hey, honey, how you doing? My wife just walked in and she looks tired.
Aw.
You okay? Okay, I'm talking to my friend Nerdette here. God, that's great. Anytime you walk out after this, I feel like I'm a freaking abusive husband and everything. I'm afraid what people are going to say. She's worked in a kitchen for our entire marriage, and she'll burn herself, so she'll have big bruise here, big bruise, all over where she burned herself. And once or twice I've had people like,
oh my goodness.
I mean, she's burnt. No.
Poor thing.
Anything, it goes the other way.
That for a while.
Yeah, I don't want to look at your busted.
Long, so you told people I was a cutter or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. I did joke. I did joke one time. Somebody went, "Yeah, she's a cutter."
Oh my gosh.
Being married to me is really difficult. That's I do have to admit that. Yeah.
Robert said, how many people characters are in DC? What's the percentage of canon gay characters? I actually did the math last Friday. It was 7%.
Hey, that's 10%. Actually, you know what?
We have good DC writers like Williamson.
Yeah, that is actually within that's within the number. Hold on, I gotta ask you something.
Yes.
There's someone in your, you know, I on my own channel I read the comments all the time. So there's somebody in there. Who is it who likes to make assumptions here? Like, oh, he actually said this, therefore everything about him falls into this one little spectrum. By the way, the bird will never shut up. I wish the bird
Wait, I don't know who you mean. In my comment section or your comment section?
Dakota loving this guy probably. You don't know me, Dakota. Come on over to my channel. Here's the thing. I'm inviting you. Tonight we have an open line. Come on over to my channel. If you have a mic, jump on. We talk about whatever the hell. Tonight I want to invite Howler Mouse, Eric, and all that and have some conversation.
Drawing, probably. Maybe figure drawing.
I'm what?
It may have been figure drawing. I don't like because I know you.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there is not just like hateful rhetoric. I know that you're a good person. I know that we have a lot of disagreements and but we've never had an issue with talking about them. I just think there are people with platforms, maybe larger than both of us combined times 10, that do have the hateful rhetoric, that do spew the bullshit. You care about comics.
It does seem that way, right?
Yes, and the thing is, I've never doubted that you actually cared about comics. Never once in my life. But these people, yeah, I don't think a lot of these people have the best in mind. I do think that some representation is going to help with getting a younger generation, and I think that's maybe where they're going for with like Aquaman the Becoming and Son of Kal-El. Whether or not that is actually going to work, we'll have to wait for the market to decide. But I don't necessarily think that the older fans grasp it. And I feel like I'm in that middle ground.
I just did a video. I'm going to post it probably tomorrow. I just did a video where, and I think I said it the same thing in the Perch video that you were talking about. I understand I'm 52 years old. So I am reaching the end of my relevancy when it comes to companies. They just don't want older people. They're not looking for us. You're still in it. You're still there, lady, for another 17 years. So that's cool. But I understand. I'm on my way out. I mentioned this. Comic books are changing, and they are changing in ways that personally people like myself may not like. But when I see the black pills and they're just like, comic books are dead, comic books are doomed, you're so doomed. No, dudes. No. Oh, and by the way, Spiffy, I did notice you there and love you, man. I would never actively ignore you, but there you go. I do read the comments all the time. But it's, I realize that. And yes, they do need to bring in, new blood. That's obviously it. And you're right. Having the representation would help. But unfortunately, we're not really talking about when you have people who are against certain things like myself. Unfortunately, the argument becomes about having them there when really what it is how they're written. Think about, and I think we talked about this the last time we were, I was on here, we talked about Sandman for a bit. Sandman, by today's standards, is incredibly woke.
So woke.
But
it's so good.
Ahead of it. So well written, nobody cared.
Yeah. It was these characters that, like, I could sit here and talk about Sandman forever. It's one of the best books ever written, in my opinion. It is these characters that are so queer. It is these characters that are not only queer but strange and funny and unique and amazing, all wrapped into one, and that's why people loved it.
Well, the main characters, of course, were incorporeal, so they were everything. You know, the Dream could be, at one point he was a cat, he could be male, he could be female. Same with Desire, and most of them could be all sorts of stuff. So you have that, but it wasn't just them, it was also the side characters where you would have everybody from every walk of life. But the difference between what's going on there and what's going on here is representation versus presentation. And
I like that.
A lot of characters that are being written or put out there, hey, look, they're gay now, are just the worst stereotypes. It's not forwarding any kind of movement. It's in my opinion, kind of knocks it back a bit, because you have them, they're like the worst 1980s version of the neighbor gay person walks in, hi, and okay, here we go. All right, you know, it's just, and they're not actually, it's not actually being represented as human, as fully fledged human beings. It's just, if you are a gay person in a comic, you know what, all you are is gay. And I talked to you about the other history where and Mr. Miracle, and I just don't trust those guys anyway with characters. They're just not good. Where they only write black characters as black, they only write gay characters as gay. They don't give them anything other than that, and that's one of the problems, I think. And I think that we just don't, maybe people on the conservative side, if you, I guess, for lack of a better term, for this, maybe we don't iterate that point enough or well enough, that it, because I do hear, when we were in OGCG, which I still respect, this new shit I don't, but this is much anyway. But this one, when we were there, we would have some people arguing, you know what, she needs what was it? Riri Williams needs her own book because, you know, she's Ironheart. She needs to be her own person bringing Tony Stark. And then the other people have, yeah, it sucks because they've got this teenage black girl replace it. As soon as you said that, you come off racist, boom, your argument's over.
But that's the thing. I don't think you are, but I do think there was a good subset of the population that were just didn't want to see your characters.
I think that there absolutely were people. I've run into a few of them, and it was like, oh my gosh, yeah.
I've seen them in the comments.
The worst thing, I actually got into a huge argument one day when I asked people, don't at me in your posts anymore, because they were posting up like Kamala Khan getting banged. Like, she is a 15-year-old kid. So do not at me in your freaking posts when you're posting about I don't want to be a part of it, because to me it was always a argument of visual. We wanted to show that we're right. They're the crazy ones, we're not. And no, you are.
Now that makes you look crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm kind of doing the old man thing and veering off. By the way, I love the person. I missed who it was, but I love the person that said 52. You don't look a day over 65. And the way I'm feeling today, thank you for that compliment. Yeah. Sorry.
That's awesome. No, you're totally fine. I got somebody else waiting in a couple super chats though. Do you mind if I switch over?
You're gonna boot me?
Yes,
have a good time.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.